Hello and welcome to all. In today's session, we will see how object-oriented programming concept used in Selenium with Java POM framework. So when we are developing a new framework or when we are developing a scripts, we need to use the object-oriented programming concept. If in case we are not using the object-oriented concepts, okay, then it's then we need to write a repetitive code and it's very difficult to maintain. Okay, so today's session we'll see class and object, then encapsulation, what is inheritance, then polymorphism, abstraction, and we will also see when we develop the POM object model. In that, how we'll use the all this concept with flow diagram. Okay, so now first we'll understand why OOPS concept is essential when we are developing a framework or when we're developing a scripts. Okay, so as I mentioned, so without OOPS, okay, the automation framework becomes the unstable or it's a repetitive code we need to do it and hard to manage. Okay, then maintenance is very difficult. Okay, OOPS makes the Selenium framework modular, reusable, scalable, and easy to maintain. Okay, so that is the reason we need to use the all the OOPS concept. Okay, and we'll see page object model is built entirely on OOPS principle. Okay, so in today's session we'll see like classes, object, encapsulation, inheritance, abstraction, and polymorphism. Okay. Okay, so first OOPS concept is a class and object. Okay, so what is a class? A class is a blueprint of a web page in the page object model. Okay, so when we are developing a page object model, so each web page or UI components become a class. Okay, and with this class, we need to create an object. So here you can see an object is the simply runtime instance of that class used by the test script. Okay, so now here you can see I have given the example how it is used in POM framework. Okay, like as I mentioned, each web page is equal to one class. So for example, we are writing a test scripts for login page. Okay, so login page is a one class. Okay, so here represent your login screen. Okay, here we can see it's a one class, and in that class we have, like we can say, multiple methods, we can say it, or multiple test cases. Okay, now here you can see test classes create a object of page classes and interact with the methods. Okay, so with this class we need to create an object. Okay, and using this object we are interacting with the methods. Okay, we'll see all these details like how we'll interact with the methods using the inheritance. Okay, so each UI element, okay, on login screen we have a different UI element, like we can say username, password, remember me, checkbox, login button. Okay, so these all are the locators, and each action we are considering as a method. Okay, so on login page, when user enters the valid username, valid password, when we click on the login, then welcome screen is coming. Then welcome screen is the one, like we can say, class. Okay, whereas login screen, like as I here mentioned, login page is a one class. Okay, and in login page we are creating a methods. Okay, when we enter the valid username, valid password, then welcome screen should appear. Okay, so now here you can see login page, then login is the object we have created for this login page screen, and login.login. Okay, so login is the method. Okay, we are calling it. Okay, using login object. Okay, and this is the parameters. Okay, so this way we are using object and the class in POM framework. Okay, next the object oriented concept is the encapsulation. Okay, so what is encapsulation? Encapsulation is the process of the binding data, that is the variable and the methods, into a single unit. Okay, so use of this one, like it restricts the direct access to the internal data and exposes it only through the control methods. So using getter and setter methods, we will use the variables using these methods, and it's because of the data security and integrity. Then how will you use in Selenium with Java POM framework? Okay, so what we'll do, username or password. Okay, we'll consider mark as a private. We will not keep a public. Okay, web element we mark as a private. Then what are the actions? Okay, we are performing that action we expose as a public. Okay, and this action or methods we are calling the private m- members. Okay, so that developers QA cannot like modify the locators, okay, by explicitly or by accidentally, okay, and only safe methods are exposed. Okay, so this way encapsulation we can use it in POM framework. Then okay, here I give the example. Okay, login page is a like class. Okay, then private I kept the driver as a like private method. Okay, then here okay login page we call the driver. Okay, and only using this method enter username. Okay, string username. Okay, so if I want to call this username private member, okay, using enter username, this method we are accessing this variable. Okay, since this is a private variable, we will not able to access directly this username. If in case we need to access the username, this private variable, we need to call this public method. Okay, so no one will able to access the private username variable. Okay, so if in case you need to access the username, first you need to call the enter username. Okay. Then next is the inheritance. So inheritance allows the common features to be stored in a base class and reused in all the child page classes. So what we'll do in base class, we'll create all the common methods. Okay, and we'll when we'll develop a new class, okay, we'll inheritance this common features. Okay, so basic use of inheritance here you can see we remove the duplicate code and all page classes extend the base page. Okay, so common methods like click, type, wait for element. Okay, so all these things will define in the base page. Okay, and when we'll develop a new class file, okay, we'll just inheritance it, we'll extend it this base page. Okay, so it's improve the maintainability. Okay, so here I give the example. So this is the base page. Okay, and here base page we have defined the driver. Okay, since this is a common. Okay, like as I mentioned, we can also like define the more common methods like wait, then wait, click, type. Okay, here, and this is a login page like screen is there, and we'll extend the base page. Okay, and here we'll give the call to the base class. Okay, then next is a polymorphism. Polymorphism means one interface, many implementation. Okay, so in when we are developing Selenium, okay, so we need to execute the same test scripts in multiple browsers. Okay, so in that case, we can use the polymorphism. Okay, or one method we need to call multiple times. Okay, like for example, here I mentioned like the same method. Okay, like Chrome driver here we mentioned. Okay, so here we'll create a web driver instance. Okay, and we have created the one instance driver. Okay, but like if you see here same instance we are using for the Chrome driver, Firefox, and Edge. Okay, same test scripts work across the browser. Okay, so that uh, it is a like a flexible and cross browser compatible testing we can do it. Okay, next is the abstraction. Abstraction means showing only what is required, the only showing the mandatory fields and hiding the internal implementation. Okay, so in POM framework, okay, so as a test script when we are defining a test script in our class file, okay, then their test script should not know how locate is defined, how click is performed, how weight is applied. Okay, all these things we are defining in base class. Okay, but in our test script, no need to define anything here. Okay, then test script becomes readable and will keep the business logic separated from the UI interaction. Okay, so now here you can see I gave the one example. This is a public login, okay, method, string username, string password. Okay, so here enter username, enter password, click login. Okay, and this is our test method. Okay, like verify login. So here we are creating object of login. Okay, and login we are calling a method. Okay, and login internally calling to this method. Okay, so this is our test method. So here no need to define like how we have developed the actual logic. Okay, then internally we are also calling them locators. Okay, so here it's a like readable like methods like login. Okay, enter if it's successful, then we are putting the assertion. Okay, whether it's welcome screen is displayed or not. Okay. Then next, yeah. So these all are the ob- OOPS concept we have used in POM framework, and this is the like flow diagram how it looks overall. Whatever I have given the example. Okay, here we can see like test script. Okay, internally it is calling the like login page. Okay, so login page class, and here you can see private locators are there, public methods are there. Using these public methods we are calling them private locators. Okay, so this is nothing but the encapsulation. Okay, no other like method is calling directly this private locators or private variables. If in case you want to access the private variables, first you need to call the public methods. Okay, then login base class internally calling the base class. Okay, where we have defined the click type weight and all these things. Okay, and login page base class we extend the base page or base screen. So this is nothing but the inheritance. Okay, so here we saw encapsulation, here we saw inheritance. Okay, and this click methods internally calling the locators and all these things. Okay, locators, and that is like and also here no need to like as a test scripts, no need to worry about how it's defined click type and weight. Okay, so only required things we are showing, so that is nothing but the abstraction. Okay, and here we are calling the find element, send keys and clicks. So this is the overall like we are using the object oriented programming concept in POM framework. Okay, if in case you have any questions query, please let me know. Thank you.